Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Cantina MX podcast. Happy to have you with us this evening. We are broadcasting live immediately after the last of the four quarterfinal games in the Liga MX playoffs for their Apertura 2017 season. There are now four teams moving on to the semifinals. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some other stuff as well. Good to be back with you guys. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everyone had a lovely time with their family and had a lovely meal and just got to spend some downtime with people that they love, and that's what it's all about, what we want to do. But regardless of that, I do want to thank y'all for joining us this evening. We are live. I don't think we're going to have phone calls tonight, but you can certainly chat on the YouTube page, so please do that. And of course, you can listen to this and all of the other editions of the Cantina MX podcast on iTunes as well as in Google Play. With us this evening, we have in South Los Angeles, Joel Aceves. Joel, how are you?
I'm doing very good, John. Right here, even though my goats are, I'm enjoying the playoffs.
Yeah, you're you always you are not a Liguilla fan in theory, but you like the practice of it. You like watching, like I'll watch the games and I'll like them, but I think that
when it's not your team suffering, John, it's you can enjoy it when your team's not the one. But you're right. If I had a choice, I'd do away with Liguilla.
Yeah, it's
that's what we have the cup.
But you know what's so funny, and I do understand that. But I mean, I got to think that other leagues around the world. I mean, when are they going to? I mean, I know the Liga. The funny thing is, the Liga MX has been just for 40 years. So it's not like this is something that's new. You know, that's something that they invented at the turn of the century. I mean, they've been doing it longer than most of us that are listening to the show. I know we have a few old timers, but they've been doing it longer than most of us have been alive. So I do know that in England's first division, the top team I think gets automatic promotion, but then they have a playoff. So if you make it from 2 to 6, then you have a chance to.
Oh, but that's for promotion, right?
For promotion, yeah. So they do have they do have that available for.
No, well, I mean, you could do that for the campeonato. You could just have the end of the season, the top team win the campeonato, and then maybe the other teams play for a cup or something. You know,
probably, I guess, I suppose. But what happened tonight, Joel? As you know, we were watching there at the Estadio Azteca with the lovely Oakland Raiders logo emblem, not fully faded from the big football game they had last weekend between the Raiders and the Patriots. Club America beats Cruz Azul 0-0 because they had beaten Cruz Azul 0-0 in the first leg, and by virtue of having higher position in the table, they then advance. So Cruz Azul didn't score, so they did not get a chance to have a full Cruz Azuleada like we would normally expect them to do. They just lost the tie, and they lost it by not scoring. They did have some chances there at the end, pretty much the whole game. But the reality is that Marchesín was playing out of his mind, and he had just a tour. He kept America in the first half, and America missed some chances in the second half to. And again, it wouldn't have really mattered if they score one goal, because at that point, all that has to happen is for Cruz Azul to score a goal that would change the game completely. Then America have to score two. So they ended up not getting it, and it didn't matter because Cruz Azul didn't get it either. So they advance 0. They advance by having two games go 0-0 in the Liga. So America's in the semifinal, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they'll be playing Tigres in the in the semis. So they'll play the first one at the Azteca, and then the second one at the Volcan. Joel, Cruz Azul had a chance. It didn't happen for them. It looks like indications are that this is Güemes is what's the cat's name? I feel like I'm getting
Gemes. Paco Gemes.
Gemes, not Güemes, but Gemes. Paco Gemes.
No.
That he is that he's gone. He's toast. They're bringing in the Portuguese Caixinha, who won a title at Santos. But I watch Cruz Azul, Joel, and I wish we had some Cruz Azulinos join us. I know that we do have a few that listen. And Cruz Azul for years had this identity of just being an incredibly offensive, dynamic team that played just an incredibly attractive brand of soccer with emblematic players. We play whether they were foreign or domestic. I mean, players that you saw. Well, that's he plays for Cruz Azul, and they've lost it. It's gone. It's just that whole everything about what made Cruz Azul great and so consistent for many years is. I mean, it's just not there.
Yeah, John. Well, I think James could leave with his head held up high. It was his season was almost coming down. It was falling apart toward the end, and they managed to qualify. I mean,
but I mean that's the problem, Joel. Though, is if for a team like Cruz Azul, qualifying should be. I mean, that shouldn't even come into question. I mean, I'm being serious. I mean,
it
again,
had been what 3 years?
it had been
3 years
3 years,
since they had.
but
That's a long time, John.
but it is a long time. But let's let's look at the big picture. For a team like Cruz Azul that has been probably the most consistent team in Liga MX since we've all been alive. I know they haven't won a championship in a while, but they're always there, always. And just like you say, for the fact that they have had those 3 years where they didn't,
yeah.
the people were happy that they qualified. I mean that is just sick and wrong. I mean, for Cruz Azul fans, it's got to be, we're not gonna. This doesn't make us happy that we made the Liguilla. I mean that should have anything just be a sigh of relief that we're here.
Well, John, it was just a combination. It was a combination of bad luck. And it's funny for me to say bad luck because I read this tweet and it says it's in Spanish. I'm gonna read it. It says, "Fue impresionante la mala suerte del América, pero siempre gana más la mala suerte del Cruz Azul." So I do feel like that club's been a bit unfortunate because before this 3-year dry spell, they were at least fighting campeonatos. So Cruz Azulada was that they would lose finals, and then they went to qualifying.
Well, it's not that. I mean, but it was also the way they would lose because I mean they lost how many finals in the last, in stoppage time in the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
just brutal, just absolutely.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, exactly. Some of it was kind of like just unlucky, for them. The ball just bounced to the other team's favor. But I don't think it's as bad as it looks. Just because teams will go through these dry spells, and just it just seems like they've been at it longer. But I just think that's because the media was just the whole Cruz Azulada thing just became a meme, and the whole media and the fans jumped on it. And I mean, and we talked about this before, John. It could be worse. You could be Atlas.
That's exactly right. You are 100% correct.
You could be Atlas, and there's these other teams that aren't even fighting for anything. So Cruz Azul, at least I think for the fans, they could, even though they lost to America, at least they didn't lose the typical way where America just hands them their ass on a silver platter or in a humiliating way. And I think that they seem to be on the right path to rebuilding. So, who knows how it'll be with Caixinha next season. If he's what they needed. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I look at the roster and I recognize Corona and I recognize Jerry Flores and Cata Dominguez, who God love them, is but I mean I certainly don't think of them as like emblematic. I mean maybe Corona a little bit, but they don't have a 27 at all. I mean not even close. And I mean outside of Corona, name me a Cruz Azul player.
Yeah, they don't have like before when they would have these
Yeah, I mean
they'll have ídolos like Hermosillo and Valencia. They haven't had. And speaking of that, John, there's been rumors that they want Conejo. They want
Really?
Conejo to retire in La Máquina.
So what happened to Corona?
Oh well, that's in case I mean, well, Conejo already wants to retire. I mean, I would guess he would get a few games. I don't think he would. He would be the starter.
Right. Or maybe let him play the Copa.
For the Copa games, but who knows if he would want that? Um, and well,
Well,
there's also been the talk
playing
of
and starting
Chivas buying.
in Pachuca.
I mean, if Chivas buys Corona, in the case that they do make that sell, um, then they could probably use leave Conejo as a starter.
Right.
But I think if I'm Cruz Azul and if I'm Caixinha, I wouldn't want to sell Corona. You know, I wouldn't want to worry about finding a good keeper when you already have one.
Yeah,
The,
because I
the
mean,
concern is,
and obviously, Conejo wouldn't be a long-term solution for that either.
yeah, he's mostly there for fan service. They're trying to win back a lot of fans, and they want, just kind of do what's right. Uh,
He's like the greeter at Walmart.
yeah, um, but yeah. So like if you're Caixinha, your priorities always going to be up top. You're gonna. That's what they need if they could get a proper striker. That Cartelucho Quemado is just not. He's been a dud. I think we'll probably see him at Lobos Buap next season.
Lobos Buap got 23 points. I mean, all they need is 17 for the next one, and they're gold.
They're
They
gold,
are.
but that's a franquicia that's begging to be sold, John. I mean,
There's no question. They'll be in Veracruz next season.
Yeah,
One word, one way or another.
they can't even put 5K in the stadium. I mean, which sucks,
Yeah, so Atlante or Veracruz descends, then they won't really because they never. I think that they've descended like 2 or 3 times in the past 10 or 15 years, and they've never won promotion, and they're somehow back in the league.
They're always yeah, man. But yeah, an Atlante will be good. Bringing back an Atlante.
I really, we've talked about this in the past, but Cancun to me is a hugely important piece of the puzzle for the future of Liga MX. So they really need to seriously upgrade what the stadium they have down there. I mean, I would even do a retractable roof. I'm telling you, dude, it's Cancun will help Mexico in a ton of ways if they can get a decent 45,000 seat stadium there.
Well, do you think they could be the next Tijuana?
Yeah, I do. But I mean, if they as long as they put the stadium, somewhere near the zona turística, it would just, I mean, first of all, it would look great on TV. They do just find the spot in one of the nearby hotels. They get the pretty scenic or whatever.
Yeah.
And if they were smart, they'd play like around right around sunset with us, so you get all the pretty shots, this and that.
You need to put a presentation, John. PowerPoint. Go present it. And speaking of stadium, I want to mention it before I forget. I drove by the Bank of California Stadium, which would be the new home of Carlos Vela.
Right.
And it's looking very nice, John.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to covering games there?
Yeah, and yes, sir. And it's right in the corner, the stadium, so you can see it. As you're driving by Figueroa,
right.
It just stands out, and it's like it's something I always hope for, to have like a soccer-only stadium.
And it's in a spot, Joel, where you can get some really nice views of downtown too, just like the Coliseum.
Yes.
It's right next to the Coliseum, right?
Yes, right next to it, but easier access. Well, for me, I could just walk there.
By the way, shame on the Los Angeles fans. The Rams are killing it. They are killing it.
No, nobody's going, John.
No one's going. The game was on today. It was a beautiful day. It's sunny and gorgeous. I love watching the the late game out when it's sunny and pretty in California and in LA, because they got the funk because
Yeah.
the light is always funky in LA because of the smog, so the color temperature is always like off. It just has it almost looks like you're watching a movie practically because it's just lit so different than everything else. And they got a good team and they're winning. I look at the stands, it's like half full. So you gotta be kidding. LA,
Yeah.
you can do
Well,
better than that.
John, LA isn't a. It's never really been like a sports city. And if you even looking at the majority of the teams, none of them were from here.
Right.
Lakers came from, what was it, Milwaukee
Minnesota.
or somewhere,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Dodgers.
Dodgers, Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, but what about the Galaxy? Come on, Galaxy is a homegrown team.
Galaxy started in Pasadena, then now they play in Carson,
Oh, so
LA, but
you don't
not
even.
really. Los Angeles will be LA. That's right at home.
So
Right,
the only
right in
one
the
is going to
center.
be LAFC. LAFC is going to be the first homegrown team.
Hey, if they do it right, it's gonna
Yeah.
be popular really quick.
You think they're doing it right, don't you?
So far, yes. I mean, the location is brilliant. You couldn't have gotten a better location. They already got two good players in Vela and I forget the name of this guy,
Well,
Gaber or something like
they picked up an
it.
Egyptian player,
Yeah, defender, and he's I think
and
he's
and
World
they're
Cup bound.
they're going after Charrua,
Oh, see, I didn't know that,
a
John.
Charrua forward, yeah, a young
Oh, otro
kid,
delantero.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they have a coach that he knows the league.
Is it Bob
Uh,
Bradley?
yes, sir.
Oh, what a great coach.
Yeah, I mean for MLS, he's a good coach. I don't want to upset our listeners. I know they're kind of anti MLS, but if you live in LA, man, you're gonna want to see Vela or Chicharo, and then maybe in a few years Chucky. This this is gonna be the place where you're gonna see them.
So that's where all the late 20-something players are going to go is LAFC.
This, yeah. Well, I mean, look. Next year you have like a Clásico Angelino, and you're gonna have Galaxy versus Los Angeles Football Club, Gio and Jonah, and then you're gonna have Vela, and there's probably gonna be another guy, either Guardado or Chicharron, but that's already four, almost five national team players right
Playing
there
alongside.
playing in front of you. Yeah, I mean, enough of that, John. I know it's Liguilla time.
Well, it's a
We
tangent that
should we should go
we've
back
broken
to.
off into a lot of times, but we'll touch base with it with it again. So America advances by not scoring, like we mentioned. It's probably the only team in Liga MX that can win two ties 0-0 in advance. No, but and frankly, their goalkeeper Agustin Marchesín had a fantastic game and made some pretty impressive reflexive point. I mean, inside the 6-yard box shots that he just made some great saves on, and Cruz Azul unfortunately could not get the
Yeah,
goal that they needed to force America to score two.
yeah, man. Denied James some glory there. I think
Well,
James.
just the whole Cruz Azul nation that just is just they're just begging for any kind of emotional justification.
But I feel like they're shaking off some of that Cruz Azuleada mojo away.
I do too. I think that
Little by little, I think they're
yeah.
getting they're shedding it off, and I
I,
think that what happened, John?
but I agree with you. But I do think that they need that. That I know that Chaco, yeah, is their emblematic, but they just Chaco's is like 39 now, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. He's
it's
on the.
and I guess that guy should have been that Martin Galvan kid, but it didn't work out for Cruz
Yeah,
Azul,
they.
which goes back to what you've talked about before, Joel, about the German method and the method pretty much everywhere else is that when you have the one kid, they forget about everybody else and just here's the one guy that we're gonna pin our hopes on instead of pinning hopes on all of them.
Yeah, yeah. They'll just put it on one or two and then forget about the rest. And then when those guys don't work out, it was like, well, we tried and it failed.
Right.
Um, no, yeah, I seen. I was watching during the Monterrey game and they were talking about their fuerzas básicas. I think they had. I think they had the Nigris. Man, I
Right.
forget his name.
Yeah, he was Aldo was one of the announcers.
Aldo, yeah, that's correct. Aldo de Nigris. And he was talking about. And they were saying how uh, they had like five other players. One the top goal scorer in the different under 20, under 15, under 17. You know, in all the different divisions, they have all these kids that are winning the goal scoring. It's interesting to see them, you know, because Monterrey for the last years has pretty much been a team that just kind of just buys the squad. They don't really bring that many homegrown talent.
I saw a couple of the Monterrey teams last year at the Dallas Cup, and they were more than decent. They played pretty well.
Well, yeah, and you know Dallas Cup for years, uh, Monterrey and Tigres have had really good youth teams, but then it's like they end up not using them. It's I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in Mexico. It's like they have no faith on their talented youth squads.
Right. And it's only going to get worse, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Which is why the MLS is so important, which is what we've been talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. If they could soup up on a lot of these players. But Monterrey, John, I said it a while back. They're my favorites to win it all. I think this tournament is for them to lose.
Yeah, there's
I don't
some
see
question
anyone beating them.
that they were of the 8 teams that played. They were clearly the side that was most impressive. They settled the tie with Atlas, not in this game, but in the first 13 minutes of the away leg at the Jalisco, they scored. They were up 2-0. I mean, and it was done. And now that they Atlas ended up getting one back, but Monterrey could have won that one by 4 or 5. They could have won this one by 7 or 8. I mean, if they really wanted to, they took the foot off the gas in the second half, and were just content to play keep away more than anything. And no, you're right, Joel. They were.
Yeah,
It was impressive.
and you know, John, at the start of the season, I had them crashing out. I'm gonna
Well, at the
admit.
start of the season, I had Cruz Azul
Oh,
making it all the way. So
es de sabios cambiar de opinión. So I was going off the fact that you know Mohamed had a really bad season, and then he had lost the locker room, and going into this new season, he got rid of two of the club's two really good players, national team caliber. You know, one from Uruguay, one one, one from Colombia, and you know he just let them go because he was clashing with them. So I mean,
right,
and
and then they also picked up Aviles Hurtado, which helped a lot.
yeah, it helped a lot. But and then the directiva had just changed. They changed GM. They had done some changes, so I was kind of skeptical, and I've been very, you know, I'm pretty negative when it comes to these things. So I was expecting the worst, but you know, a lot of credit to Turco. He turned it around, and it could be very difficult when you have a team that you know you lose a campeonato, and then the next season you crash and fail, and then you have like some of these other problems. It could be extremely difficult to pick that team up again. And he pulled it through, and now they're just without a doubt they've been the best team offensively and defensively, and they spent about 14 weeks in first place. So that's why to me it's like this campeonato's for them to lose. I just can't see it, another team beating them. I think
Right,
because if they play at their best, they should win it. They should just take it off.
and they didn't do that thing where like the number one seed comes in, not having won in 3 games or whatever it was. I
No,
mean, they came in hot. They had what 30? I mean, three teams over 30 points, which hardly ever happens at the MX. They usually might have one or two, but they had. As you said, they had a consistent strong. I mean, Aviles Hurtado has been a terrific pickup for them because I believe he has because he got two more today. 13 goals total in the games that he's played. So they have a great young. They have Basanta, who's a fantastic veteran national team defender, and then they have Cesar Montes, who I could think of a better place or a better person for Montes to learn from than Basanta, who was Monterrey's captain for years. He not only did he was he a part of Argentina's World Cup team, but he played in the quarterfinal, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was even the semifinal. But he played in a very important match for them, and their midfield has always been has always been terrific. They have great goal scoring, and the goals they scored today were just outstanding goals, and it just goes to show you how dangerous that team can be because they can beat you every which way. You want us to beat you on the counterattack, we'll do that. You want us to do it balón parado, we can do that. We'll send crosses into the goal, we can do that. We'll take shots from the outside. I mean, they can score from anywhere in any manner, and that is, and with a good defense, you're right. It's just a matter of time for them to crack the nut. I mean, they have such a good team that they put Funes Mori on the bench, and he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but speaking of Aviles Hurtado, he shared the goal scoring title with Boselli, and but I wanted to bring something to attention, John. Something we criticize some of these new Liga MX writers out there that were praising Gignac, calling them one of the greatest players ever.
Right.
And I remember you wrote this really good article on some of the top scorers of Liga MX.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I did was that I showed who were the five best foreigners in Liga MX history, and it was. And it's the only, the five, and honestly, when I picked them, I just, this was just off the top of my head. Names, I'm thinking back, who are the greatest foreigners that have ever played, and then as I started to do my research, they're the only players that played in Liga MX that are in the hall in the Hall of Fame in Pachuca. There's a lot of Mexican players in the Hall of Fame in Pachuca. There's a lot of foreign players in the Hall of Fame in Pachuca, but only five of these guys made their bones in Liga MX, and it would happen to be it was Miguel Marin, who was the goalie for Cruz Azul, and Carlos Reynoso, who is Mr. America, and Cavino, and Cardoso, and then Alex Aguinaga, who was just in the mid '90s was for 4 or 5 years, just up there with just the best player in the league.
No, but Cardoso was the one guy that he was just a Terminator, man. Oh. And when it came, and so I mean, I remember seeing like all this praise about they should bring in more Gignacs. And I'm not saying he's not talented. He is. He's very talented, but for all the polishing he was getting, he ended up pretty low. He didn't have a good season. He hasn't been having that much of a good season right now, and
he has not. But I will say this in Gignac's defense, because Gignac did come up last night. I was this by the way, a really 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 comfortable bar on the east side here in Austin called Tacoba, where we got to watch the Tigres León match, and I was sitting with two Regios, and I asked them about Gignac, and both of them, without even conferring, and like, this is what we're going to tell them. both said that Gignac has taken the Monterrey like you wouldn't believe. He said he's the nicest guy. He went to the Auténticos Tigres is a college football team.
Yeah.
There, so he went to one of their games. And the fans were very, very cordial and courteous to him during the match. But after the game was over, he was signing autographs. Like someone asked him to come play in his golf tournament. He did. Apparently, he's just a really great guy that has completely fallen in love with Monterrey, and has been a really good ambassador
Damn, John, now you're making me feel bad. See, I'm not trying to rag on the player.
But the thing is that he did. You're right. He did have a bad season. He did have a bad. But you know what?
Well,
He could have a bad season and get hot in the Liguilla like he did last year.
yeah,
I know, and all is forgiven.
all is forgiven. No, well, my whole thing is it's been with. I feel a lot of Liga MX, especially like now that you have like social media and Twitter, and you get to see all these new all these people that cover Liga MX,
Right.
you know, for the different outlets, and then you get to see like their thoughts on the players and stuff. And I feel like a lot of times they lower the bar too much. You know, so Guignac, because he has one good season, all of a sudden he's
Right.
one of the best things to ever happen to the league.
Well,
Where you have
Gignac had more
Jimenez.
than one good season.
No, I know, but I mean,
But I
we
understand.
have a very storied league where it's like it's going to take you more than 1 or 2 seasons.
Right. I mean, Gignac
You know,
at this point to me, all he is a chamagol.
Yeah.
And that's and again, that's not an insult to Gignac at all.
No, it's not.
Chamagol
Yeah,
was
it's
a
not.
fantastic striker. He had 3 just unbelievable years, but then after that he was done. It was toast.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's the thing about the the guys that we mentioned, the Caviños and the Cardosos and
Yeah.
and is that those guys they were solid for 10 years, for 12 years, 15 years. I mean,
Yeah, they would.
He peaked in like 95, 96, but he was still Ecuador's captain of the World Cup in 2002. How good he was! So I'm serious.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that's crazy.
he could have played anywhere. And that
Yeah,
goal,
that he could.
you've seen his greatest goal, right? Where
Which one is up?
He se lanza la tijera, and it hits the crossbar, and then it bounces back, and he still has it back to the goal, so he does another one, and it goes in.
Yeah, I think I've seen it, but I have to refresh my memory, John.
Yeah, someone needs to post like Televisa or somebody needs to just go ahead and post the they need to post that clip because it really is. I mean, it is a top 5 Liga MX goal in Liga MX history. I mean, it's that good.
Yeah. So
no, I agree. I agree. It's go ahead.
No, yeah, and so even like with Jimenez when he arrived, just because he had been in Spain and all of a sudden he was supposed to like bring in all these methods and just revolutionize and do all that. And it's like he didn't do anything really. I mean,
right.
Just what he did here is nothing. That's just going into Liguilla and losing to America is not really praiseworthy, you know.
I agree. It's
So now he's out. I think he played himself out. He just came in too strong, John. I don't know if you remember, like in his first weeks, he was trying to fight.
He came in guns hot.
Trying to fight someone. He told him we could meet up. We could meet up in a dark alley and just have at it. And so
he was locked, cocked, and ready to rock when he came in.
I don't blame Cruz Azul because this is not the type, you know, of
well, he
what
never,
they need. This attention.
It just was never a good fit. It just, Cruz Azul,
Same with Thomas Boy.
Yeah, exactly. It hurts my heart that a team as good as Cruz Azul has been for it's essentially my lifetime. Longer than that, I'm sure. I mean, they've just been just a terrific team for a half a century. For them to have to go through this just ridiculous mess, whether it's ego or bad management or just whatever it is, and I got to tell you, is Yayo still there? Because he hasn't really done that much impressive either.
Yes, sir. He's still with them.
Yeah,
he's still with them,
but we'll see what happens. Maybe with Casilla. I mean, to me, like I said, I mean, Cruz Azul needs. They need to have those 1 or 2 guys that they just and they just don't have that. So let's move on then to Joel. We'll talk about the Monterrey Atlas. That was the first game today. Like I said, a laugher, a 4-1 Monterrey win. Just some terrific goals. Now Rafa left the game injured, as one who is in his late 30s is wont to do. when forced to chase people.
Was he really injured, John, or was he like, this would be a good time for me to exit
Well,
this match?
he
Es el baile, dude. Les tocó bailar con la
he
más fea.
injured his hamstring. Is the official word, but he was not like limping off the field when it happened. But he did look like something did happen. So
I don't know, John. To me, it was like I will bow gracefully from this. Match was pretty much over, man.
Well, the match, like I said, the match was over in the first leg. But so my question to you is that if in fact he was indeed injured, how much of a setback is that for him to make the team in Russia, or is he going to Russia come hell or high water?
I don't think. I think with the whole scandal and then just FIFA not wanting to be involved with stuff like that, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he has the ban lifted for international games. I think it's just in Mexico where he could play.
Well, I know he can't play in the States at all, but I mean, really, Russia is going to let you out for a little financial.
No, not Russia. More like FIFA. Just because of all the scandals they've gone through.
Oh well, I mean, again, that to me is like kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. But
no, but they don't want any more attention than they already have. So it's like, so who knows, man? But I mean, I don't. Without due respect to Rafa, I don't think the national team needs him.
No.
I mean, and we.
So you don't think he's going to get his 5th World Cup?
Who knows, man? Who knows? Because he's, what I'm saying is just my belief, and then there's Rafa's, just relationship with the national team and with the coach. So I don't know where he stands there. He's been very influential for many years. So
right.
I don't. It's hard to tell. I mean, I know he wants to be there, but I don't know what FIFA, if FIFA has, or if that has been discussed with FIFA.
You're saying that FIFA might send a letter of suggestion.
He could play the beach World Cup.
That's right.
El Mundial de Playa.
Or you can do the Mundial of the you can just like put a little like soot on and wear raggedy clothes. You can do the homeless Mundial too.
Yeah. No, I'd rather see Montes, John. I think.
Let's see, but I don't think Rafa would go as a defender. I think Rafa would go as a contención. And the reality is, right now in Mexican soccer, but that's what he plays in Atlas. And right now, for a truly defensive midfielder and I have to add this caveat because it is Osorio that is good in the air. There are two options. There's Rafa and there's Jesus Molina.
I don't know, man. I give up trying to.
Now there could be another wild card, a dark horse that could emerge in the clausura, come out of nowhere. I
think I know who you're going after, John.
Who's coming home? He's finally coming home.
I knew it.
And if he gets the playing time and gets going, I think would be just a shoe-in to make the net. And of course, I'm talking about Jorge Chaton Enriquez, who we were hoping against hope that. I mean, to me, for what his potential was, I saw him as a national team captain for 10 years, and I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, the potential's there, man. So let's hope.
He was a leader. Yeah.
Let's hope Almeida can work his magic.
Let's hope so. And then last night, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but Morelia did. They lost the first leg, 2-1 in Toluca, and they did their own Cruz Azuleada in that game because they were up 1-0, and then Toluca scored twice in stoppage time in the second half to win. And then they give up another one really early in the home leg in Morelia, but Rui Diaz, the Peruvian, scored like almost 30 seconds later, and then they got another one, and then they got another one. So they were able to go up 3-1, and that ended up giving them the tie. And then they are a team that talk about has that team that has no pressure. And they'll be playing Monterrey coming up. They were in the descenso for how many years? For 2 or 3 years. They were within just the tiniest margins possible of being relegated.
Yeah, they have been hanging on by a string.
Yeah, and they scored a goal, and in Monterrey, mind you, and I think that was 2 seasons ago. Then last year they were in danger of being relegated to. So that whole specter is gone, and they are playing loose. You could just see it. The pressure is off. They're having fun. I think they're really dangerous. If Monterrey is gonna lose a round, Joel, this to me is the round where I think that this is the one where it could happen. Just because Morelia is going in. They walked into the casino, and the guy in the casino said, "Here's $5,000 in chips. Go have fun." and that's what Morelia is doing. They are the textbook example of playing with house money.
And they have one of the top strikers in Liga MX.
Yeah, they do.
Who's very consistent.
Ruidiaz has been terrific. They have Angel Sepulveda, who scored a goal with a chilena last night, and then he scored it with a bicycle kick during the game. I'm here all week. Thank you very much. That was terrible. That was a bad joke. That was very bad.
Me estoy avergonzado.
I won't do that again. Anyway, so they are a dangerous team, and they play the first one in Morelia, and then the crowd was great. That stadium looks pretty intimidating when it's full, and it's hardly ever full. So it was good to see that, and it was. I do think that this might be Monterrey's toughest out if they were to win the whole thing.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, John. I haven't kept up with the Monarcas.
Well, who has? And that's the thing. Is it? Because Monarcas is one of those teams in Liga MX that always seem to be playing Jaguares in the weekend, and you're flipping around to watch what. Yeah. I'm not watching this game. They're always playing Jaguares, or they're playing Puebla, or they're playing Veracruz. It's like those 4 teams just constantly play each other. It's like in the NFL when the Bengals play the Browns, or it's just a game you don't want to see. And it's I know that we have a lot of Monarca fans that listen to the show, but just understand that we are we do like. Morelia is actually a really cool town. Michoacán is gorgeous. First of all, it's one of the prettier states in Mexico, and it's really good to see them finally be able to play soccer, because for 2 years they had to play the cagey ratonero. We cannot lose. We can tie, but if we win, it's like a bonus, but we absolutely can't lose. And so it's just good to see them get out of that, and they're going to be dangerous. Just watching them play against Toluca, they have a local boy coach, Roberto Hernandez.
I was just about to get there, John. For someone that advocates for local talent, shame on myself for not keeping more tabs on Hernandez, who he's pretty much been in Morelia for a long time, mostly as interim. Just one of the coaches just there, and they finally gave him the hot seat, and he's doing good. But it's
he's
good
like
to see more Mexican coaches.
The Cabezon Luna of Morelia. So no, but it's and like I said, they won 3-1 after losing in Toluca 2-1, and then they came from behind to do it, and because of Mateo Ruidiaz, and they have they're not the greatest team, but they can certainly give Monterrey fits, and I think Monterrey would be very careful to overlook this team. So
they ruined Toluca Centenario.
They did. So the last couple of Centenarios have been ruined, because America Centenario was ruined, and now Toluca Centenario is ruined. So maybe a Centenario is not something that you want to start. But by the way, I will say that Toluca's crest is one of the nicest in Liga MX.
Yeah.
I like that retro,
Very South American.
that postmodern look. It's a good.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in Argentina and Brazil have that.
Well, I think the reason for that is because the logos are probably designed around the same thing, because it's not just in South America. I mean, it's also in North America too, and it's also in Europe. So I think it was just probably like in the 1910s, and it's not just those things. Like if you look at, like, there's a lot of clubs,
No, but
clubs that have the same style letter.
There's been a lot of teams but I think Europe started, have redesigned their crest a lot of times. And
That's true.
Where like South America, they're still pretty much the same. Like, so it's in that style of like River Plate, San Lorenzo, I think Cruzeiro, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a few that have that same style with the letters,
right?
Sort of like on top of each other.
No, it's a good look. I mean, it's a classic look. I'm a big fan of it. Unfortunately for Toluca, that's another team that and I do watch their games, but I mean, I guess I was spoiled because I did get to see Cardoso play for Toluca, and he was fun. He was fun to watch. They obviously don't. No team has anybody near the quality of a Saturnino Cardoso. Just a terrific player. And then the first semifinals came from the first game yesterday, and that was Tigres another team that won both games 1-1. They also advanced by tying. They got the equalizer in León late-ish, in the 75th minute or so. But then they scored. Gignac actually scored, ended his scoring drought, and got a goal in the first half on a free kick. Had a couple of chances to get some other ones, but he, as they like to say, está peleado con el gol. Pobre Gignac right now, and then León was able to equalize, and frankly, Tigres had to hang on. Tuca did what Tuca does in the 80-something minute. He the 80, he brought in a defender for a forward and said, "Oh, if we're gonna have to do this, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right." And God love that man. And so they sweated it out, and then they advanced, and now they host. They're gonna have the upper hand against America coming up, which is it probably doesn't get it as far as recent history, but probably getting bigger than that. The two teams with the three of the four teams with the highest payrolls are in the final, and I don't think that's an accident.
No, but you might not like this, John, but I think if Tuca doesn't win anything, he should. I think he should bow out already.
Y usted no me va a decir qué carajo tengo que hacer.
I feel he's done everything he can at the club. He's won plenty, because to me, Tigres should be what Monterrey is right now, especially with all the players they brought in, all that wealth in attacking talent.
Has Tigres not been winning championships?
No, they have, but I feel they should be more dominant.
Dude, how much more dominant do you want them to be?
Tigres style, where they just run away with the league, where they decimate teams, like that. Because I feel that they have that potential of just, smacking teams around. And so I just think another coach could probably do something. I'm not saying he's bad. I mean, I feel that
I have bad news for you then, Joel, because yesterday at the press conference, Tuca announced that he had signed a 3-year contract.
I'm not saying. Well, it's not bad news for me. It's bad news for the felinos.
I don't think.
Hey, man.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Hey, some of these guys aren't scoring the way they should. They got that one Chileno guy.
Why is that Tuca's problem? Are they still winning games?
I feel you have to just have the right type of tactics or mentality, and like you said earlier, he puts on a defender. I mean,
dude, he did that in the 80-something minute of there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's just been my take. I feel they were unfortunate when they lost to Chivas, but I think that was a game that was just it was theirs. You know, they should have won
Well,
it. That
they gave up
final.
early, or they gave up early goals in both of them, and teams like that, that's like the worst thing that can happen to them.
Yeah.
Because then they have to start pressing, and possession teams when they press is not a good look. Sometimes they just I mean, I've seen it watching Mexico my entire life, but I think Tuca is, they have just as good a chance of as Monterrey to win this thing. And frankly, that's the other thing, Joel. And this was what I did. Like I said, I got to watch a game with a couple of with one really big Tigres fan and another Tigres fan, and he thinks that Tigres' motivation, at least for the fans, are to make the final and then beat Rayados so that they can lift the Liga MX trophy in Rayados Stadium before Rayados does.
The tamalera, damn. That is brutal. Well, that looks like that might be the final, John.
I think it's the chances are pretty high, and you know what? I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to garner outstanding ratings for the league.
It should be a really good match. Wait, did Monterrey did beat them during the season, right?
They did. In fact, I was actually watching the game in Puerto Vallarta when I was there over for the week before Thanksgiving. By the way, thank you all for doing the show. It was excellent job on y'all's part.
We did our best, John. It got a little bit out of hand, but we managed not to stray too far.
But yeah, so that game was. I was at this place called La Langosta Loca, and I was having jaiba rellena. Man, it was good. It was very jaiba rellena. It was excellent. I was very happy with it. There were two of them actually. I had their ceviche. Their ceviche was okay. I asked for ceviche acapulqueño, and I think that because of that they, because they're from Puerto Vallarta, like, dude, really, you come all the way to Puerto Vallarta, you want the Acapulco ceviche? So I'm sure the Vallarta one could have been a little better. But it was weird, Joel, because the first night I was there in Puerto Vallarta, they had the Copa MX semifinal between América and Monterrey, which Monterrey won. For those of you keeping score, it was on like 5 channels, and then the Peru-New Zealand qualifier was being played at the same time, and that wasn't on any of the channels. But 5 different channels had the Copa MX semifinal between Monterrey and Club América.
So it's.
I only have one thing to say about that. If I can find, here it is.
Hijo la chingada, no mames, güey.
I mean, seriously. What the hell?
It's picking up, John. It's getting, the cup's getting hot again.
And then the other thing I found out was that all of my streaming services that I have here in the States, I can't access those in Mexico, which to me just makes no sense, but whatever. I mean, I have no idea why that would have to be some imaginary line on a map would make a difference. But that's a topic for another time. But I will say this about Puerto Vallarta, Juan. I think that this should probably be very disappointing and concerning for Chivas fans. Is that all the patas saladas there were telling me that Puerto Vallarta is a half and half town, and Puerto Vallarta is in the same state as Guadalajara.
It's been like that for a long time, though, John. A lot of Americanistas.
I was very surprised. I mean, I would actually would have understood more Atlas than America. I mean, I was like, America. I was like, really, America?
No, yeah. But also, I think Puerto Vallarta, aren't there a lot of expats that live there?
Well, sure, but I was talking about like the locals, Mira, que cuando estás en el Uber tienes que hablar de algo, ¿verdad? Entonces estamos hablando de fútbol, no. No, so I mean, I would ask and then when I was at the bars and stuff, and I'd ask we went on a little excursion, so I talked to and then those are the guys that shocked me the most. But yeah, but I mean they were telling me that said that the Chivas said they never really had been all that popular in Puerto Vallarta, which just was amazing to me. Didn't really compute. What are you gonna do? But it was very nice though. I do highly recommend anybody who has a chance to go down to Puerto Vallarta to take that chance, because it really is a very lovely place, and I will definitely be going back. So it was very nice. So Tigres plays América, Joel. I believe that's probably going to be the Wednesday Saturday game, and then I believe the Monarcas Monterrey will be the Thursday Sunday game. So you think you're calling it Clásico Regio in the final?
No, I think you're right, John. I do think Morelia is going to give Tigres a run for their money. But I feel pretty much that's the final,
Right.
The Clásico Regio. America, who knows, man? I think they have a good, Piojo, even though the team's not doing that good, Piojo's just a good coach and even better motivator. I think he could surprise. He could cause a surprise, but America's not as strong as the other teams.
Well, they don't have the goal scorers that they normally have. They have goal scorers, but they're just none of them are playing particularly well.
Yeah, so, and not even Uribe had right. Pretty season hasn't
and
been
he's usually pretty money in the postseason, and for him to play
he
bad in the
postseason,
that's not usually his style. So yeah, it could be that. I mean, it's going to be tight. I mean, it's going to be cagey, defensive. It's going to be both are going to play cat and mouse. It might be a thing where the ball just rolls out midfield and neither team goes after it. So you go get it, dude. I'm not going to get it. They just stare at each other for the first 20 minutes, not moving at all. It's well, I mean, obviously, it's going to be a great tie, and so now you're putting some evil thoughts in my head, Hoyle. And I don't think that I should express those here on the Cantina MX podcast. So I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna go with my man Tuca. I've been on the Tuca train for a long time, and there's no reason to get off.
Go Piojo, okay.
Well, I mean, I honestly, it wouldn't shock me at all if America won, because America is a good team and they have a good coach.
And America was seated higher, right?
No, they're 3 and Tigres is 2.
Oh, all right. I thought the first game was at Tigres Stadium.
No, the first game is going to be at the Azteca, and then the second one's at the Volcán.
Medio cierto. Misled me, John. I was looking at the match thing set up.
Yeah, so and then the other semifinal, it'll be Monarcas Rayados, and you say that you think that they're going to give them a hell of a run, but ultimately Monterrey is going to pull it out.
Yeah. No, Monterrey is definitely finalists.
I will say I do believe that the Monarcas Monterrey tie overall will be more entertaining than the other one. I think the other one's going to get really neither team's going to want to risk that much, and I think it's just going to be a lot of.
America will be getting two. Wait, are they had 2 players suspended? Are they returning, or do they still have a match? Uribe and I forgot the other guy's name.
Well, did Uribe was his yellow for today? Suspended for today?
Yeah, he was suspended.
Well, he played today, so I mean, he probably only sat out 1 game. if he's suspended at all. I'm not sure if he's suspended for the next one. I'm not really sure. I know that they will get. Oh, they'll get Edson back. Edson Alvarez will be back because he had to sit out a game. So he's good, man. I like him. He has the potential to be a really good contención.
Well, hey, John, I need to ask you this: when's the last time all top 4 teams made it to the semifinals?
I was wondering that. I was thinking about that. I think it has happened recently, but it doesn't happen very often at all.
Yeah, that's gonna make the race kind of tight. But I have favoritos, but Liga MX is, and it's just 2 games. You always, it lends itself for surprises because you could have one bad match and that's it.
Right.
Well,
I mean, I remember when Pumas last won their title that they were playing Monterrey. Monterrey had just won all their championships, so they weren't the same team. So it was one of those things where they kind of into the Liguilla, and of course in the first 20 minutes they're up 3-0 because they started playing like Monterrey did.
Yeah.
But then they kind of ran out of gas because it was hot, and Pumas just needed to get one goal because if they get the one goal, then all they have to do is get 2 at the house, and they would, and that's what they did. They got their one goal late in the second half. They made it 3-1, and then in the second leg they won 2-0 and they advanced because of the away goal rule.
Yeah, that's Liga. Would you prefer it, John, if it was like NBA and it's best out of 6?
No, heavens no. That would absolutely. I hate it. Honestly.
Why not?
I'm such not a fan of games like that because it's like, I mean, for the World Series to take as long as it does. I mean, I think it's. I mean, there was a lot of drama and I get that, but I mean, do a best of 3. If you're gonna do it, just make each game just hugely important. But no, but I love the one. I love the one-off playoffs. It's
the home and home.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, in soccer, home field advantage is not nearly as important as it is in other sports. I mean, it's very important. Don't get me wrong, but the teams aren't going to win 5-6 nothing at home just because they're playing at home. They might win more at home, but they're not going to just utterly dominate like some teams in some sports. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be very interesting to see how it all turns out. And I think you and I are on the same page on that. So I think it'll be a
Clásico Regio.
Clásico Regio, but it wouldn't shock me at all if America does manage to sneak by Tigres. But, I mean, it wouldn't be. I guess what I said, it wouldn't be an upset if America did that. So it's a nice hedge, isn't it? You say it's gonna be Clásico Regio, but if this happens, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Joel, before we go, we should mention that Chucky Lozano scored again.
Yes, yeah, 10 or 11 goals.
He has 10 goals, so he is. He is still lighting it up. I
was catching some heat at the Big Soccer, John, because I said that Chucky is, I'm still not impressed, John.
Well, he has to do it against stiffer competition. But you know what? Right now, he's not playing stiffer competition, and if he is doing that, then that's what he should do.
Yeah, no, and the thing for me is because it's not easy what he's doing now. I'm not trying to take away credit or praise because he deserves it. And, he's dominating in the league, and it has a bunch of players, and he's the one. He's one of the best ones.
Right.
So that he deserves a lot of credit for that. But I think as Mexico fans, we're pretty starved for having just a world-class player. We haven't had one since Rafa Marquez, and I think he could become one. But we already been let down with like Giovanni and Mbella and some of these
Well,
other guys.
here's the thing
Which,
about this whole, we have to have a crack and a world class player. Yes, you're right. Mexico needs to have 4 or 5 world class players, and the only way that's going to happen is if Mexican players, a lot of Mexican players play soccer. I was doing some math before I came on the show, Joel.
oh,
And so right now Mexico has the 10-8 rule, right?
yes.
So at a minimum, if I can figure this out here, we'll do some math. So at a minimum, teams are only required to carry 136 Mexican players in the whole league, and then you add the Chivas players, which was like a let's just say a 23-man roster, 159 players. That's how many Mexican players at a minimum Liga MX can, that's the floor.
Yeah, and,
That's the minimum.
and they don't all play, so it's like
Right.
less than
Now,
half are gonna play.
I would say probably 2/3, probably about so we have 100 Mexicans playing in Liga MX.
Oh man!
Out of those 100, how many of those are going to be good enough to play in Europe? Maybe 4 or 5, right?
Oh man, ya
So-
párale. Just kidding.
Let's compare that to where they had the rule where you could only have 5. Was it field 5 foreigners or have 5 foreigners on your team?
What, the previous rule?
Yeah, the 5 foreigner rule was
No,
just
it
5
used to
foreigners on the
be. It
team.
used to be. You could only field.
So field not have on your roster, but field.
Yeah, and it was like 4. I think in the
It was 5.
was less that you could field it. So yeah,
Right.
5.
Well, okay, so if it was, and I'm not sure if it was rostered. I thought it was just rostered. May have been field, but still the numbers would, would be. Let's say it was 5 foreigners per team. So then that's, if you do a 23-man roster, that's 18 times 18, right? And then you add 5 more for Chivas. So that would be a floor of over 300 Mexicans playing in Liga MX.
That would be the ideal.
Right. So now, and I'm sure the number was less than that. So again, for Mexico to have success at international level, yes, 100% agree. You have to have players that play in the top leagues. The top leagues are in Europe. I get that. But the only way that Mexico is going to succeed is if they have, 30 or 40 or 50 players playing in those. And the only way that's going to happen is if players play here, get noticed, or if players play anywhere and get noticed, whether it's Liga MX or whether it's MLS.
Yep.
Am I crazy or am I not crazy?
No, you're right, John. You're right, which is why I think a lot of times as fans, it's that attitude, that whole anti-MLS attitude. It could be pretty bad.
Right. And if they do that one-off tournament that we talked about, then it could really mean something.
Yeah. No, yeah. We just overall, there just needs to be way more Mexican players playing
all over the world.
Yeah, everywhere. The more exposure, the better.
Absolutely.
You're
absolutely 100% right.
But I don't know. we don't seem to value our talent as much. So I mean, just how we talked about earlier with the Dallas Cup and the Monterrey teams have for years, fielded very competitive teams. But then when you look at their first division squad, they don't have that many. They won't have that many canteranos. And America's another team that they've had a really good cantera, just really good, And people don't really talk about it that much, but just in recent years, like Cuauhtemoc, Memo Ochoa, and they had like Diego Reyes and Raúl Jiménez. and you know they just had a lot of, they have what Linus now, and
Right.
they seem to also bypass a lot of their players.
Well, they also Edson Alvarez came out of America, so
Yeah, they've had. So yeah, it's crazy. Just and a big part of it is it's the business is in player trade. That's they're making too much money off of the buying and selling players.
right. And of course the market for the Mexican players is always going to be much higher in Mexico than it's going to be
Yeah. Well, I mean,
anywhere.
I should say foreign players with the
Right.
trade of bringing in like they could get a South American pretty cheap and then just sell it for double in Mexico.
Exactly. But to me, I see MLS as a league that's expanding. That's going to add 4 teams in the next 4 or 5 years. They're going to have 32 teams playing. 32 teams playing professional soccer in the U.S. That's ultimately their goal. You cannot tell me that you can't get 50, 60 Mexican players playing on those
Yeah,
32 teams.
spread throughout,
Yeah,
which is we should want that, you know,
absolutely.
and as fans, you know, we have this hate or I don't know what to call it, and it's just gonna end up being what Argentinians, more Argentinians or Chilenos, you know.
Right.
It's like we just keep closing the doors. But I do think this league is poised to you know to improve. They've been taking their time and not you know just the way they do the soccer specific stadiums, which I think that's helped them a lot.
Right. Well, and also, it just the capacities are very reasonable for, and there are places where they need to have more capacity, like in Seattle, places where they can, they play in the football stadium, but they close off sections, and then but they still have 40,000 people in the stands. And then the game in Atlanta, that new stadium in Atlanta, they were drawing over 70,000 people for the MLS games there. So it
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it could change. I think the whole people have this. It sucks, and but then the attitude should be we could make it better, you know,
right.
or we could make it more competitive or more exciting instead of just like yeah, it's no good. So I'm not even gonna take advantage or do anything with that just because it's not offering me anything right now.
Now we do have some chatter on our chat, Joel.
Oh,
We
a
have,
ver, vamos.
MJP says que los Huilas ya están muertos esos. And I will not repeat the word that he wrote, but I guess his inference. Thank you, MJP. Is that America is done, toast. So I don't know if that'll be the case or not, but it'll certainly be interesting. It'll be a very compelling, hopefully watchable. I think parts are going to be a little unwatchable, unfortunately. Hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully it'll be end-to-end crazy 4-3 bananas. But the reality is it's probably going to be either 0-0 or 1-0 over 2 ties. I think there'll be more goals in the.
I want to see penales, John. There's no penales.
What I don't. Do they do penales in this round? I don't know if they do them in this round or not. They didn't used to. I know that. It used to be the higher seed went through if it tied. But
Well, as far as the seating and all that, so I think that plays in favor to just the way Tuca plays.
yeah, and then Tuca also has the advantage of getting the away goals first, and that puts a ton of pressure on the team playing the second leg away. Like if Tigres wins 2-1 or 2-0, or and even if they tie 1-1, I mean, if it's those first away goals are big. So it'll definitely it'll be a good chess match to watch. See both coaches move their pieces around and see when they decide to pressure and then when they sit back and absorb. So because both are going to do it, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns. I do believe that if there's one player that could get hot and go nuts, it's our favorite Frenchman.
Gignac. So
Yep.
so who gets hot first? Gignac or Oribe?
Well, I think I just saw Uribe leave in a cart, so I don't know if he got injured or not.
His
You never
age
know,
is
right?
catching up to him, man.
You never know. Boy, that's a tough one because they both can do it.
Yeah, except Oribe's already like on his way out. He's just en una pata, man.
Oribe's gonna, see, he's the guy that we need to have a strong clausura. Oribe
To make the World Cup?
Yep. Well, he's gonna make the World Cup to make a difference in the World Cup. To be the Peláez of this team that when you need the goal, you bring him on in the second half and he gets it for you. That's gonna be Oribe's role.
Now here I thought that was gonna be Chicharo's role.
No, Chicharo's gonna start.
Really? You see him starting?
Absolutely.
He's not even playing. He's not even.
He's hurt.
John, he might not even play.
That's
and with Moyes right there. He might not.
He has no choice. When Chicharito was it Van Persie and weren't all those guys with Manchester United? He doesn't have that luxury at West Ham, David Moyes. They're playing out to get relegated. Which frankly I think is good for Chicharito. I think that is something that helps you as a player is to have to go through that relegation. I know that it helped Giovanni a ton. Like the best year that Giovanni had, he helped the team get out of relegation, and he was playing lights out. He was playing really well. And oh my God, that is hilarious. I just got a great picture. That's very funny.
Hey, what are you talking about, John?
Just 20-something years ago, I was talking to a buddy of mine who I went to my very first ever Cowboy game with in 1994. It was Thanksgiving, and it was a game where the third string quarterback started and scored, and then led the Cowboys to the victory. They came from behind the whole bit. It was freezing cold. It was like 35 degrees, which is cold in Texas. I know that you Northerners wear T-shirts when it's 35, but it was like the one and only time I've ever gone as a quote unquote civilian. I mean, I've done lots of games. I just never sat in the stands for them there. And she just sent me a picture of us in the stands. I had no idea it even existed. It just kind of caught me by surprise. So it was a good day. It was a lot of fun. So it just brought back that. Anyway, so you don't think Chicharo's going to play? I think he's going to play. I know he's hurt right now, but I think that he will be playing. I mean, they need him. They have no choice but to play him. And when he plays, he does okay. I think he has like 4 or 5 goals already for him this year.
He might start one game, but I'm talking for the World Cup.
Oh well, that's the thing though. Is with the rotaciones, he's going to start at least.
Well, at least one. Then, which kind of sucks, man. Well, it's pretty interesting. Mexico's all-time goal scorer, and he never really was a set starter.
Right.
He's kind of like the Moleros kind of got him there. I don't know how.
No, he has a lot of goals in those. but his goals in official matches,
Mole tour.
it's like half and half.
Yeah, a lot of Molero goals. Kind of cheapens it a bit there, John.
Well, he does have 3 World Cup goals. You know, he's scored in every tournament he's ever played in. So he must be doing something right.
No, I know, but for that you would think he would always start, you know, and he would play every single game, or he would be the definite
Yeah,
starter.
he definitely got hosed in 2014. But the reality was you could not play Oribe because Oribe was playing so well. I mean that's it's tough, but I mean Oribe had he was on he'd been on a at that time a 2 or 3 year tear. Oribe had been going on.
You know what, John? He should have just stayed in Germany. He should not. He should have not gone to EPL.
I would have if I were him. I would have gone to Chivas. And it has nothing to do with level.
Well, he still
blah.
can. He still can, John.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because is one, I think Chicharito is obviously very comfortable in Guadalajara without a question. It's his home club. Although his dad, he did go to school in Morelia because his dad was a Monarca too. But and if he would get the playing, he would get the playing time, and he would get the adulate, he'd get everything. It would have been a slam dunk for him to come back and to give Chivas 2 or 3 really good years. And I wouldn't have seen it as a quote unquote step down. He didn't have to prove anything to anybody.
No, I don't think he has.
Yeah.
He already has a really good career.
Right. But he never really got a chance to flourish his career in Chivas. And I think that's something. I do think that's something that Javier wants to do. I think that he wants to play at Chivas. I mean, there was a rumor, and actually I was talking to one of my cabbies about this. Puerto Vallarta. See, the cabbies know everything, man. They're like the eyes and ears.
Well, they listen to the radio all day, yeah.
Yeah. And he's saying that it wasn't that the Chicharito rumor to Chivas was not true. But there was a super hot one down there that Chivas wants the Dos Santos brothers to on loan. So there you go. There you go.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I can feel it. I can feel it welling up inside you, Joel. Yeah, so that was the rumor that they were peddling down there, was that the Chivas was gonna make the move for the Dos Santos brothers to on loan for this time.
That sounds like typical Liguera. I see him doing that move. He always wants. He already tried with Vela, and he did try with Chicharo. I think he was going for a loan, which was rejected.
Oh, so West Ham rejected the loan.
Yes. So I do feel that he would try, just because he knows he's not going to be able to buy any good top talent. Not going into a World Cup year. But that's the best thing you could do right there if you could bring down Los Santos.
Yeah, see, West Ham would never agree to a loan because they're in a relegation. I mean, they need Chicharito. They need him.
Yeah.
Galaxy doesn't have to worry about relegation, so they can. And frankly, it would be better for Galaxy if Gio and Yona get going, and then get going in the World Cup, and then come back in the summer and have all that goes with it. Play for Galaxy. So
I would welcome them with open arms, John. Even though they're Americanistas, I would still.
Well, you think that they would have to learn the?
Not really, but I think once they put the jersey on, I think they're gonna, they're gonna feel it.
Now, Giovanni is on the record as saying that if he ever played Mexico, he would only play for America.
Yeah, but that was when he was like in Barcelona, when he was like, you know, when he was an untouchable. Now he's like,
Very
if
expendable.
if he was dropped from the squad, no one would bat an eye.
Right.
No one would mourn him. So I think being in a team where the highlights are going to be on you,
Right.
you know, I think that would benefit him just because he will once again be, you know, he'll start making the headlines once again. And it's a team that likes to play attacking football, which should benefit him.
And let's face it, Higuera likes the fichaje bomba. That is his thing.
It is, and Grupo Pachuca's gone, so you
That's
know
right. That
we don't
that
have.
relationship is strained for the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. You know, I mean, at the very least, they'll make a play. I do believe that that is something that I think that that the Dos Santos brothers should entertain if they have World Cup aspirations, and I have to think that they do. At least Giovanni does, because his entire career has been based on what he's done with the national team, as compared to his. You know, he didn't sign with LA Galaxy because of what he did at Mallorca or at Villarreal. It was because of what he did for Mexico.
Yeah, and these guys want to play together, so I think any team that's gonna offer them that, I think they'll take that deal.
Right.
That is willing to accommodate them.
Well, we'll see what. So, just out of curiosity, where do you put that? What percentage do you think that's going to happen?
50, John. I'll go as high as 50.
50-50. I think that's probably right. I think it's maybe a little higher, probably like 65. But I do think that that's, and I only say that because I do think that that Higuera does have the desire to do those kinds of things. That's his management style.
Well, yeah. The thing is, it's like it's not just coming into the team because some of the clubs don't want to disrupt their chemistry. You know, and that means those guys aren't just gonna come in and then be on the bench. They're gonna come in to be starters. So some of these other teams might not need them, or especially if they're just gonna be there on loan. So you're not gonna bench, especially some of these bigger teams that have their very own national team players.
Right.
So I mean, so I think a team that could accommodate them, that's a big team, is Chivas.
Maybe that's why they got rid of Gallito, so that Yona could take his spot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Jonah could just slide in right there, and no one's gonna care if Giovanni
I gotta
benches
tell you, I just don't understand.
Fierro. You know, if Gio could easily bench Fierro or even a Chofis. You know,
Yes.
no one's gonna care.
I do not understand why Osorio does not use Yona in the middle instead of, you know, has Herrera, who just has no defense, like he doesn't have a defensive bone in his body, and Yona at the very least has the discipline to play defense first. I mean, I'm saying he's the greatest defender, but at least, you know, he takes the role seriously. It's just something I don't quite understand.
Yeah, John, you're getting my hopes up, so I don't know. I'm just gonna end while I'm ahead.
You know, that merits an Elvis. Wow. Well, let's you know, I think it could happen. I certainly do think that there's possibility there. And,
yeah, I remember way back when Neri was training in Mexico. He trained with Chivas. You know, and he had the gear on, and that was like the big news. You know, everyone thought Neri was gonna sign with the club, but this was Neri back when Neri was the Chucky. was the Chucky
Right.
Lozano of the national team.
Well, that's the thing though, is Nettie just did it for like the Copa America, and then he went to
Ukraine
was it Shakhtar, and poor guy just
and to Man City where he was
he actually did all right at Man City.
partying with his band.
Well, but he actually did okay there. He had some decent moments.
I know, but they took this one picture. He had just been married,
Uh-huh.
so he has his Greek wife and his daughter, and it's like pretty much day 1 or day 2. And they take this picture where it's like the limousine, and he's in there with Sven, and they got like two or three, girls, party girls in there.
Well, they were just being polite. The girls probably needed help.
They just needed
opening their beer bottles.
They were sharing the limo Uber.
Vámonos en el Uber.
No, but I think that it hurt his marriage, and then it just had an effect on him.
He had a lot of things that had an effect on him. But I do remember that the Nettie picture. That would have been a good move for him. That would have been a very good move. He did end up going to Pachuca. Don't forget, Nettie did.
And Leon, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Like the once every 2 or 3 years when Nettie would score a goal, the reaction from folks. Again, because you want Nettie at his best, because when he was at his best, he was a damn good player. And so everyone was just hoping like hell that maybe this is it. I remember I had even set up a Google alert of any news that said Nettie Castillo. I wanted to know immediately what was going on. And,
he's at peace now, John. He is.
I think he's got a little fishing company, fishing charter.
Over there in some Greek island. Just
rough life, right? Poor guy. No, he really did go through something that I wouldn't wish on anyone. Losing both his parents in such a short period of time. It was, tough for anybody, especially tough for someone like Nettie, who was was very close to his parents, as a lot of folks are. But he obviously had a really hard time coming to terms with it. He probably never came to terms with that, at least while he was playing. So I'm hoping that he's made peace with all of that, and he can get on with his life as well. So, Nettie, if you're listening, we love you. We always have, and we always will. We had a former podcast member that I think that if they'd passed a law saying that you could marry Nettie, I think he would have married Nettie.
I think he changed his name to the last name to Castillo.
Did he?
Rumors. Rumors are to be believed.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. But Hoy, we should probably wrap it up.
Yes, sir. It's been over an hour.
Unless if you have anything else that you'd like to add.
Nope. No, sir. We covered Chivas. That was my one thing.
Yeah. You didn't have any. So you're saying that the big rumor is going to be Corona, and now they have.
That's who they're going. That's who they want. But I mean, if you're Cruz Azul, why would you sell?
Why would you give him up? Yeah.
When he's been pretty good. I mean, you want to make your team stronger. You're not gonna get rid of a good player, and then
the only way that
to
would
gamble on seeing if the next guy is gonna be just as good or not.
The only way that would work is if Cruz Azul would somehow be able to convince Picolín to come out of retirement.
Well, the other rumor, Picolín, John, that's the other rumor I heard was Chivas wants Cesar Montes, and
right, I have heard that rumor as well.
And I don't see it happening either. If you're Monterrey, why would you sell him?
Well, well, if they make him an offer they can't refuse.
No, but you're Monterrey.
Like $15 million.
Even then, you're backed by FEMSA, man. That's chump change to them. They don't need money. FEMSA's the world's second biggest distributor soft drinks.
Right.
Worldwide. I mean, not just in Mexico. Worldwide. I mean, those guys. Yeah, they got money to spare. But I mean, just seeing how we were talking earlier about how the league is starving for Mexican players. Teams don't really want to give up their homegrown talent.
Well, the biggest signings in Liga MX history have been Mexican players, so there's obviously a price that
Well, I mean,
that is always going to be met.
Pachuca has been selling. When you have teams that have sold like Pachuca or like Santos, but those teams aren't backed by big corporations the way like Tigres with Cemex and Monterrey with FENSA, which is really multinational corporations.
Sure.
They don't need money. The club just, I mean, and so the part of the deal was that Chivas would send trophies on loan, and that just makes even less sense, you know. I'm gonna sell you my top defensive talent who's poised to become one of the best defenders in the league.
Who already is one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah, and then you're gonna give me an exchange a guy on loan that's not even. I don't know how those rumors.
Well, I mean, here's these are the baffling moves that I'll never understand. Why would Atlas sell Poncho Gonzalez to Monterrey when he's going to do nothing but sit on the bench because, quite frankly, he's not good enough to play play above the head of the guys that are playing for him because they have really good guys. Why would you make that move when you desperately need a player for your fans to rally around? I mean, talk about a team that's desperate for an ídolo. Is Atlas. I mean, they have Rafa, but I mean, Rafa, played at Atlas a year or two tops before he left. Made his bones in Europe.
Yeah, that's the thing that lacks now, John. You don't see it anymore. Where you had like Hermosillo, it was many years at Cruz Azul,
right?
And you had players like that would do their whole careers at a club, and they were emblematic to that team. And we're seeing it less and less.
I mean, how badass was it for Héctor Reynoso, who had been a Chivas defender for 15 years practically, been there forever. And then he gets in the Clenbuterol thing, gets called onto the team, thinking, he's never going to play. Then has to be pressed into service when Rafa goes down against the U.S. And after they've given up the 2 goals, and he just totally has the game of his life.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like Montes, stay at Monterrey, and if you leave this to Europe, I don't see why you would want to go to Chivas. I mean, as a Chivas fan, I would love to have him, but just thinking logically, I don't know, man. That deal, like listening to it, I was like, were these some kids were drafting this up? Like,
right?
I'm gonna lend you this, and so I don't know, man. I had written earlier about I didn't expect Chivas to make any top signings just because it's a World Cup year, and teams are going to be less reluctant to let go of a player, especially if he's World Cup bound.
Well, then that makes the loan move by the Los Santos just intimately that much more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because everyone wins in that scenario.
Right.
Chivas gets two high caliber players, and Dos Santos they'll get the playing time. I know he would. I know Yera would just tell Almeida, hey man, these guys are starters.
Right.
Make it work.
Which I think they would do very well.
Yeah, and I don't think you could tell that to like Tuca. You can't send them to Tuca and say, hey, these guys need to start. They're on loan. Bench whoever we have and play them.
You know what?
Tuca wouldn't put up with that. What happened?
It's funny you mention that, but that is where they're from. Is Monterrey? So.
No, I know, but those teams are stacked. I mean, I don't think.
Yeah, they would have no.
They're sacrificing too much.
QS isn't as stacked.
No, we're not, and they just let go of. And I didn't agree with that transfer, John. Gallito is very experienced, World Cup,
Better,
player.
right?
Yeah, with a couple campeonatos under his belt. He's a player that you need in those games that
Took
he
the
doesn't
Croatian
crack.
midfield. Took the Croatian midfield to bitch school.
Yeah, the one that everyone was saying was gonna Mexico couldn't, because they had the Barcelona and Real Madrid players,
Right.
the Rakitic and Modric and were no match. And here comes Gallito from León, man, smacks him across the head. So, but I mean, I'm still at odds with that transaction, man. I don't know. They did
Yeah.
get a player from Santos, a young one, but Chivas don't need more young players. They need to win campeonatos, man. You don't need.
They need glue
Stop.
guys. They need guys that keep things together.
Yeah,
Los que mantienen orden.
start trying to push the whole cantera stuff, man. And people still buy. I mean, they still buy it. I'm reading some of the forums, and that's a good bet for the future. And I was like, what? Wait, did you just not see last season? We completely not made it. But I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if the team had to sell him. I mean, what if Chivas still owed money to Grupo Pachuca? Because
Well,
that's where he came from.
obviously, this potential business transaction is going to be entirely dependent, Joel, on how well the the Chivas TV does.
Chivas. Nah,
Is
I
that thing
think
still a thing?
yeah, it's still there. It's still there. They're still holding on to it. Um, I don't know how many people still order it.
And again,
But
Chivas TV isn't a bad idea, but if you're gonna go that route, you have to be able to execute, and that's where Chivas screwed up.
yeah, no, I mean marketing. It works for both Galaxy and Chivas to loan the players. And it makes good sense. So I don't know. Let's see what Higuera does.
Well, hopefully, for Chivas fans all over the world, hopefully things will the decisions made will be the right decisions so that the Chivas Comet can stay in orbit just a little longer because, as you know, Joel, the Chivas Comet was was maintained in orbit by the Liga MX Femenil team that won the first ever championship.
It did.
Congratulations! And they had a great turnout in both Pachuca and the Estadio Chivas for the final, and they won convincingly 3-0. So congratulations to the Chivas women's soccer
To,
team for winning the
to the
first.
Chiva ladies. Yeah, and they lost the first like 2-0.
So they came back and won, and so 3-0 go 3-2 in aggregate. That's awesome.
Supposedly they had a good turnout at the stadium, so there was good support. But it's good to see the league. And
See, and that was a very smart thing that Liga MX did is if it said, look, we're gonna start a Liga MX Fanny, but we're gonna brand it with the teams that people know and love.
no,
So
and also John, they did something that the Liga MX should do. They
what's
kind of
that?
closed it off to foreigners.
Right.
It wouldn't mind if we did it. Just maybe 2 years, 3 years. Just say stop buying
Because
foreigners.
there were some Mexican American girls that couldn't play in the league.
I know, and it sucks for them, but I get it, John. I get it. There's not that many opportunities in Mexico
Right.
as there are
No.
in the U.S. The
You
U.S.
know,
has
and the
leagues and schools, and there's way more.
the Pumas team did really well. They had some. Yeah. So hopefully it turns into something, and they can at the very least acquit themselves nicely in the Women's World Cup. because I mean, if they have a league and they get players, and it's no secret. Just like you're saying, it's access to the game. It's access to the game. So yeah, if the more they have access to it, obviously the better the team is going to become.
Yeah, because a lot of the girls coming from here, they were going to be better prepared,
Right.
So they were just going to keep a bunch of girls that are just starting out, just because Mexico doesn't have that many outlets for the girls to play, to compete in. So,
And then go ahead.
I do think once it grows, it will open the gates. So I mean, it all has to do with fan attendance and other details. But
yeah, but I mean, they have to take it very slowly. They just have to take it slowly. Let it happen naturally. Don't force it. So that's I think that will help this league a lot. Is for the support to come naturally. Obviously, again, it was good that a team like Chivas won. Obviously a very popular team on the men's side, and the brand recognition obviously helped, as it should.
Yeah, they play their own games, but I think they could even do stuff where they could play like before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, play the women's game before the men's game.
Yeah, and you would have good crowds at least for the second half.
Right.
I think that, and I'm not sure if they're doing that, but that would be something good to do.
Well, a lot of times they were playing them at the facilities.
What, the training grounds?
Yeah. Not necessarily in the stadiums. So.
Well, there is some decent, like for example in Guadalajara you have the Teco Stadium, and it's pretty small.
Right.
And I've been there, and it's a good venue for soccer.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of venues like that, but they're not going to necessarily. I mean, they'll only play in the bigger stadiums when their crowd size warrants it, and again, that's why I said, to grow the league naturally. Don't make them play at Estadio Chivas, where there's 3,000 people in the stands. It's just a bad look. It's all about appearance. There's a lot to do with appearance and image and everything else. And, if they're smart with it, which it looks like they are going to be, take it slowly, let it happen, and and then the payoff will be if the Mexico team in the Women's World Cup can advance past the group stage and maybe win a knockout or two. So hopefully that'll be something to keep an eye on. But one last bit of Chivas news, and I'm surprised you didn't bring it up. I figured it'd be the first thing you want to talk about, Joel, and that's that Carlos Fierro looks like is going to be a Cementero next season.
Wait, I had heard that news, but nothing concrete. And the whole thing was
the rumor was was pretty strong.
I mean, but the rumor I heard, John, was it was part of the transaction to bring Corona.
Oh, okay.
Like part of the trade, Corona, Fierro plus money. But I mean, Caixinha hasn't even arrived, unless he's wheeling and dealing from the sidelines. I mean, and if you're Cruz Azul, why?
But I mean, when do the coaches ever get to make these decisions?
Well, they do. I mean, we've seen it with some of the teams, and they did do it with Cruz Azul. Did do it this season with.
When does Cruz Azul ever get to let the coach make decisions?
Well, they made it this season with Gemes. They went after the players he asked for. They have been pretty,
Now, the players that he asked for, was he given a list and say, out of these guys, who would you like?
No, it was a thing. It was a thing, John. He did bring in some of the. He worked with the De La Torre guy. I mean, you need obviously they need a striker. If they could get a better striker, they would be better off.
Is Carlos Fierro that man?
No, he's just not, John. So even that, that's just boggling to me. Like, I, I just outside of Lobos Buap, I don't really see a club that would get him right now. First division club, I don't see one. Maybe Lobos Buap, maybe Querétaro because of the relationship with Chivas, but they already had him, so I don't.
He could come to Pumas.
You think he'll do good there?
I think he'll do better.
Oh well, my thing is Fierro outside of Chivas, he's probably ends up in Primera A or something. Liga de Ascenso. I don't.
Coras Tepic. By the way, I think if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that the team from Oaxaca is doing well in the Ascenso tournament. And of course, the winner of that automatically goes into the playoff. Isn't that amazing? You could have a good 3 months, win the Ascenso Apertura, play terribly in the next one because you have that, you're going to automatically get a chance to play for promotion. How ridiculous is that? If there's anybody that should have a season-long tournament, it's them. And I would love for them to fill out their group. To have like 18 more teams with the top 8 of the sub-20 teams from the season before.
That would be interesting, John.
Or like the sub-18 team that becomes a sub-20 or whatever it is. Just I would definitely like to see that. Just to fill it out, and that way you get what you want is your young kids getting exposed at the professional level. Even if it's still second division, it's still the professional, the quote unquote. They're playing against professionals. Let's see if I can find that. I used to go to Medio Tiempo. I used to be my go-to, but it's gone. Something's happened. I know that Mike is no longer running them.
Yeah, Medio Tiempo record, they kind of went to trash.
It was very unfortunate.
It became clickbait.
Yeah, their website is really rough. It's like you can't be on there for more than 30 seconds before like 18 ads pop up.
Yeah. It reminds me of the internet way back when, John.
Oh, actually, you know what? It looks like that team is they're stop it. Good. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is just ridiculous. All right, so it's Juarez and Tampico, which again, that would be great if Tampico Madero made it back into the league. And Celaya and Alebrijes. And I'll let you know right now who I think Madero is through. No, it's going to be Juarez. It's going to be Juarez and Celaya. Yep, it's going to be Juarez and Celaya that made it through into the final. So one of those two teams is going to get a chance to play for Ascenso. Either Juarez or Celaya. And I'm not sure if either. I know that Juarez can. I'm not sure if Celaya would quote unquote qualify for being able to play in Liga MX. Which frankly could save Pumas next year. If like one of the teams that has like a 10,000 seat stadium is promoted, but they can't play because they don't have a stadium. They don't have the stadium requirements to do so.
Don't worry, John. You guys could just play the Lobos Buap franchise. Hey, and what I did hear, that I don't think anymore. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a possibility that Pumas did want Rafa Puente Jr. as coach.
Yeah, they're going to stick with Patiño, and then they're also apparently looking at one of the Colombian players who used to play Liga MX, who's I think he's in Colombia right now. Shoot, could it be Dorlan Pavon, or is that the guy that's with Monterrey? That's gonna drive me crazy. But anyway, so they are looking at someone who isn't necessarily a cartucho quemado, but You know, at least and I do know they're probably going to get rid of Castillo, and I think Castillo is going to go to America, which is where they always go. So there's that. Joel, we should wrap it up.
Yes.
Should wrap it up. But it was good. We put in our thoughts. Obviously, we'd like for the other folks to join us, but you know, it's their loss. It's their loss. If they can't handle this level of soccer talk, then
they needed to you know, sit this one out, John.
I guess so. Well, that's okay. We'll be back on hopefully on our usual bat time and our usual bat channel.
Yes, when will the next games be?
So it'll be Wednesday and Thursday. So we should probably want to come on after the game next Thursday. Would probably be the best time for us.
Okay, that would be perfect.
That would make the most sense for us, and of course for our loyal listeners as well. So we will do that. Joel, thanks very much for joining us here on the Cantina MX podcast.
Thank you, John. Always a pleasure.
And thank you guys for listening. Again, you can listen to this and all of our previous editions of the Cantina MX podcast at the Podcast Center on iTunes and also on Google Play. And you can also visit our YouTube page and be sure to follow us on the Twitter at Cantina MX_pod. And we're also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page so that you'll be notified that when our next podcast is up. Because we're not. I'm going to be very truthful here. We're not always on exactly 9:30 Central Time like we say we are. We usually come on like 9:41 or 9:37 or whatever it is. But it's rare that we do hit it. But you'll be notified. And you know, of course, you guys can send your questions or comments. We'd love to answer those as well. Normally we have a call-in, but our technical director did not make this podcast, so hopefully we'll have it up and running next Thursday because that'll be very entertaining, especially after the second leg. So we'll talk to you all then. Joel, thanks very much. We'll talk to you next time.
Hasta la próxima.